Hello friends. Here we are in the truck again. I guess most of y'all seen, well, it's Thursday, April the 2nd. I guess most of y'all have seen by now the Brian Enton report. And we're hearing the news that, there was a investigator assigned to the case and then a supervisor over homicide for Pima County that has never worked a homicide. Is that not strange to y'all? That's just mind-boggling to me. And it just makes me ask all kind of questions. But things are just not adding up. At some point, the truth is going to come out about not only the investigation, most of y'all know that I've been on the family bandwagon since the beginning. I've made it no secret that something's just not right. I seriously believe that, a lot of people are saying, it's part of it's staged and all that stuff. And I've got something on my glass and I can't see crap. Good thing is I just hit a button here and I guess my truck will drive itself. But there's just things that are just not adding up to the point where you have to sit and wonder, what were they trying to do here? There's so much staging stuff. They throw out the topic that, maybe it's a medical call. So you've got the staging part of the doors being propped open like they took her out on a stretcher. But you stop and think about that. Why would they do the back doors? That would assist in saying that nobody saw that. But, stop and think about the fact that most of the time when an ambulance shows up in your neighborhood and the lights are flashing at, let's say, 2 o'clock in the morning, there's things that happen that gets your attention, like the lights flashing all over the place. That in itself is going to make people ask questions on, is Ms. Guthrie okay? Did she leave in an ambulance? So, and when you really look at the fact, there is no ambulance that would be taking her out the back door across that area, trying to climb over that ring of flowers and then trying to get to the sidewalk and then trying to get to the ambulance. There's just things about that theory that says no. You stop and think about it. It's the fact that they knew that back door was always unsecured, so they used that as an option to allow the person to get in the house. There's just so much stuff that, in my mind, that says someone in the family is involved. There's a reason why the ransom notes have not been tracked back. Again, I've said it many times. Look whose husband runs a business of scrubbing the internet for people, and they've done it before. So, as much as some of y'all don't want to believe it, is it possible that Savannah could have ties to it and had somebody do it? Everybody says, well, she was in New York. There's no way she did it. She's got the money to pay somebody. Look at her security guy that walks down the driveway with them. I'm sure it's not security for Annie and Tommaso. I think that guy is security for Savannah. And he fits the description to a T. I posted pictures that show him and the suspect. And I guarantee if we had video of him bending over to pick some flowers or something like that, you'd probably see that I'm a bigger guy. I know. There's things belly-wise you got to move out the way to be able to bend over like that. And, You know, if you've ever, he's not in security because today's his first day. He's not doing protective detail because today's his first day. He's been in the business a while, and wearing a gun belt for 30 years, your hips and your legs, they don't bend like they used to. And you learn to kick your leg out in order to make those things happen. You ask anybody who's been in, who's worn a gun belt for a living. Hold the steering wheel, don't wave your hands. You turn the recorder off, by the way. You asked anybody who's been in the business for 30 years how their hips and their back feels, and they'll all tell you it's an issue. So it's no surprise to me that somebody who's in that business could be the suspect, because I see it, whether some of you don't want to believe it or not. I see it. You know, you look at his vest. If those have zip-off sleeves, then that vest he's wearing in that photo where they come down the driveway, that video they're wearing, you know, he's wearing his vest. That's the zipper, the stuff you're seeing on the suspect on the front porch. It's the same type of zipper. It's got a rubber backing to help protect from rain from coming in and all that stuff. So I've seen those jackets. You know, I've got some of those jackets. You know, 511 makes one for sure that's sort of the same material, and it's got that rubber liner and around the zippers, and it keeps the zippers covered. But body-wise and things he does, I'm telling y'all, I think that is the suspect. And I think he was paid to do it. The intel tells him to come, you know, he went January 11th trying to do this. I don't think he was necessarily planning it. I think something happened where he couldn't do it January the 11th, and so conveniently he comes back on another day when it's already been scheduled for Nancy to go over to Annie and Tommaso's house and all that stuff. I mean, my logical thoughts, you know, whether some of y'all agree or not, is, you know, there is a financial reason. You know, whether it be the house, inheritance, whether it be because now I'm having to take care of mom more and more because she's getting older and, you know, it's tying me down. I can't go do the things that I want to go do, or, you know, for whatever reason, there is reason that somebody close to her could be involved and decide that, you know what, this is not how I want to spend my life. You know, I mean, heck, I'm just 53, and the medical issues I have says that, you know, I couldn't take care of my elder parents and stuff like that, and do all the things that they would need to do, when it's hard for me to do some of my own stuff to take care of. So, you know, not that any of them have any medical conditions, but let's say that it's becoming a financial burden on Savannah to have to pay for services. You know, people would come to her house, check on her, home health aides, you know, whatever her, you know, she has a heart condition, we know that. She's got a pacemaker, so, you know, somebody to have to take her to her doctor's visits, or, you know, all these different things. If it became a burden on someone and they could never go do the things, let's say that they want to go to, Annie and Tommaso wanted to go and stay in Italy for a month or something like that. Well, they can't do it because then they're tied down to having to take care of mom. You know, it's the same thing for me. Back whenever me and my wife, we used to have an RV and a diesel pusher and all that stuff, and I wanted to go and travel and do all these different things, but we couldn't because we had animals and, you know, had stuff to take care of. You know, our kids were still technically at home, and so there was things that we had to make sure that we had somebody to take care of all that stuff for us, and it was a burden of trying to find someone, you know. So all these things are things that are just in the back of my mind on what could be the real reason here. You know, I think there was so much effort into making the evidence show this occurred. Just like, I mean, with the guy going to the front door and taking the camera. What is the real purpose in that? I mean, there was a clear shot. That camera could not see down that left-hand driveway that goes to the garage. I mean, there is no purpose in having to take that camera if you're taking her out the back door. And, I mean, if you're not taking her out the back door, the purpose in taking that camera down is, yeah, because if you're bringing her out the front door, or you got to stage it to look like you took her out the front door, but there's no signs of a vehicle ever going by there. My only reason to believe that they would take down that camera is if they pulled the vehicle to the front and loaded her, then you would see them putting her in the car, or you would see the vehicle going to the right out of her driveway and being seen on camera. So those are the only things I can think of why they would actually take down that camera, because they clearly were not on camera if they used the other driveway or went out the garage with her or stuff like that. I mean, those are more logical things to me of why would they even prop those back doors open? They could have clearly went out the garage with her and had an easier chance. But I think somebody knew that garage recorded, it was set up that we have to go open the garage and close the garage to make sure that recording is recorded and known as this is when we took her home. If you're claiming this is when we took her home, you don't want to open the garage again, because now there's a recording that says, okay, you took her home and opened the garage and put her in at 9:48 and the door closed at 9:50. What's the explanation on this time at 2 o'clock in the morning type thing? So I think they avoided doing that for that purpose, is so that there was not another recording of what time the garage door opened and closed again. So that's just my logical thought, and that's why the whole staging of the back door being propped open, anybody looking at that would say, there ain't no way I'm trying to carry a 150-pound lady over my shoulder, drag her or anything like that, because I mean, you're going right through that yard, going over that flower thing, going up on the sidewalk, going through another gate to get out of there. So they're just things that are just not adding up to me. So what's y'all's thoughts? Leave me a comment and tell me what you think some of those facts are, and if they fit into the scenario, and why you think not this because of this reason or something like that. So like, share, and subscribe. I'll give you another update and thought process on the next one. Thanks.